Douglas Ollivant is a former director for Iraq at the U.S. National Security Council, and he joins me now live from Washington. Thanks very much for coming on the show. Now, Iraqi political leaders have said that their government lacks a broad strategy. They don't have enough military power to combat the Islamic State group. And so clearly they're looking outside for help. But does the U.S. have a game plan that you know of?
Well, the administration doesn't confide in me, but as an outsider looking in, it appears that the United States is waiting for this inclusive government that President Obama talked about to be formed in Baghdad. And then and only then, I think, will the United States consider more military aid and military assistance to Iraq in its fight against the Islamic State.
One of the strategies they've been using is organizing Shiite fighters, militias, and encouraging tribes in western Iraq also to do that and take up arms. Is that the way forward in order to fight the IS fighters?
I think the way forward against the IS fighters will be a coalition of anyone who is willing to help. I think that ultimately this is a major problem in both Iraq and Syria, and now even in Lebanon and who knows where next. So I think anyone who is willing to participate, the Kurds, the Iraqi army, the Sunni tribes, even the IRGC, the Turks, anyone who is willing to assist in the fight against the Islamic State, I think will be welcome in one way or another. It's not to say the United States is going to directly coordinate with the Iranians, but I don't think we'll be discouraging them either.
Is there going to be any change in strategy or in the way the fighting has proceeded now that Nouri al-Maliki has stepped down?
Well, certainly the departure of Nouri al-Maliki makes this easier. Whether you're a critic of al-Maliki's or a defender, you have to acknowledge that he had become, if nothing else, the symbol of what had gone wrong, whether he was responsible or not. So his departure makes it easier to move forward, makes it easier to form a more inclusive government, have a leader that does not have the grudges with the Sunni and Kurdish leadership, and allow the Iraqis to present a more unified front against the Islamic State.
It's a question that's been asked time and time again, but it still is very relevant. How has the Islamic State fighters managed to take over so much of the north?
You're right. We'll be dealing with this question for some time. There's still a lot of question as to what happened in the north. How much of it was surprise? How much of it was corruption among the Iraqi army? How much of it was the fact that there were a lot of Sunnis and Kurds inside who found that they were fighting against some of their cousins and so melted into the woodwork? And even talk of Ba'athist officers now in the Islamic State who bribed or otherwise convinced their former colleagues in the Iraqi army to disappear. We don't know. It could be any one of those or all four of those or some combination or perhaps something else. But they have certainly done very well. And of course, part of this is the Islamic State itself is a very well-trained, much more capable force than we've ever seen before.
Douglas Ollivant, good to speak to you. Thank you very much for your analysis.